Aloha guys, Scuba Chris here. Are you familiar with this reel? Because for a while I was not. This is called a cold water level wind reel. This is the largest of the cold water series. There's a 303 and a 453 that's smaller than this, and they're all level winds. The smaller ones have a built-in line counter, but this one here is the largest of the series, the 553, and it does not have a built-in line counter. This is the CW553LS. It is part of the cold water level wind series of Okuma, and these reels here were made for specifically two type of functions. It was made for the Great Lakes, deep water Great Lakes that are very, very cold, as well as the Pacific Northwest. So when they call it a cold water reel, it's not because it has special seals or grease that can withstand cold water. It's because it was meant to be used in cold water, and it was mostly meant to be used as a trolling reel, a slow trolling reel for boats, not shore purpose, but boats. I guess you could use it from shore if you were off a bridge, but what they would fill this with is copper wire line. And the reason why I use copper wire is like lead cord. It is heavy. So depending on the speed that you're trolling at, it will get your line down further down into the water. And this type of copper line is very popular trolling in the continental U.S., in the Great Lakes, the Pacific Northwest, like off Washington State up to Alaska. And they're basically targeting salmon, trout, and stripers. Like I said, this one here is the largest of the series. Davy Brown of Okuma was nice enough to send this to me. Because of the COVID-19 conditions, there's a lot of reels and rods that go from show to show. And after a while, this was missing its box and it didn't have the mounting brackets. But I got in touch with Ronald Almanza with Parks Department of Okuma, so he's going to send me some mounting brackets so I can use this. Now, what can you use this here in Hawaii for? I was thinking inside trolling reel. Over here we have what is known as Ono, or it's Wahoo. It's called Wahoo, but the local term is Ono. It goes along the shoreline. It frequents 30 to 50 fathom marks. This would be perfect for it because of the large line capacity. Now, say if you want to put on 25-pound mono, it'll take 680 yards. It's pretty good. Or 30-pound mono, that would take 520 yards. So it does have its uses. And 40 yards, which is what I think I might use, 40 or maybe 50, but 40 yards will take 440 yards. So, I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. I'm going to use this. But it's a level wind. See, that's a level wind. And you're going to say, well, level winds may not be that popular. Well, it may not be popular because you cannot toss it far from shore because of the friction of the bar going back and forth. But you can use it off a boat. Now, this one does have a line counter, but I don't need a line counter. When I first started trolling back in the 70s along the shoreline, I was using level winds back then. I was buying them from Sears at Ala Moana before they were shut down. And what's nice about level winds is I can tell how far my baits are in back of the boat because I'll count the revolution of the bars going back and forth. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I timed it over a couple of days so I can put three lures out. One just so the swivel's hidden by the white bubbles of the engine, and the lures presented one in the midsection and one further back. So I would count the revolutions because I got 3 of the same type of reels. And I found that, hey, level winds are the way to go when it comes to trolling, especially inshore trolling. Now this reel here, it comes with 2 ball bearings and 1 roller bearing. The gear ratio is 4.7 to 1. That means for every one rotation of the handle. The spool is going to rotate 4.7 rotations, and that's pretty good. It has 40.7-inch line retrieve, which means for every turn of the handle, you're going to be bringing in almost 41 inches of line. The max drag, 22 pounds, so good enough if I hook anything like a jack, or most likely it's going to be inside bonito or a wahoo. That's more than enough, because you're not going to overpower it by forcing it in, because that's going to rip the hook out of its mouth. All right, and the weight, it is a fairly heavy reel, but won't matter if you're bottom jigging off a boat or a kayak or just trolling. The weight here is 30.7 ounces. So my friend Captain Mel Pang here in Honolulu, he's a good friend of mine. He's been jumping on my boat for many years. He said his new boat is just about ready, or it is ready. Just got to do the fine tuning. But it's a 17 whaler, and over the years I've had a 17 McKee. I had a RIB Motomar. I had a 20-foot RIB from the military with twin 60s, twin Mercs. I've kind of given that up because I'm getting older, and I used to be commercial. I used to go out by myself. Try go and launch a boat, recover, and go out all day on your own. It gets very tedious after a while. So I'm going to be jumping on with Mel with his boat. So I'm going to be, pretty soon I'm going to be going out trolling and jigging at the buoys, see what happens. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and spool some line onto the level line. Thanks.